LeBlanc, Corki, and they seem to be pretty scared to reuse Corki. Zach, Caitlyn, and Galio for Phoenix1. Hey, am I a prophet yet?
I mean, you got 2 out of 3 right now, so that ain't bad.
Yeah, and if the Caitlyn isn't banned, I expect it to be first picked.
What happens if Caitlyn is banned, though? What do you expect to be first pick? Actually, maybe not Elise. That's been the trend for a lot of the teams, that maybe Xmithie actually has Rek'Sai on the brain or just wants to take something else. So we could see some variation here, but Immortals certainly discussing this last ban fairly heavily. Can actually ban Tahm Kench.
It could be a Thresh first pick for them, and then you play Braum into that. Or they say, well, it doesn't really matter. We'll pick Elise, Rek'Sai, keep something away from MikeYeung. Ah, the Caitlyn! I did it again!
It's a shock!
Ah!
Well, there's the standard answer for Phoenix1, and I think Immortals do actually have a number of choices here. If I was ever going to see kind of a deviation from the standard pick here of Elise, I think Immortals are in a pretty good spot to do it.
I pick Thresh, or the Jhin?
That's a lot of priority on a bot lane.
Well, the question is, has Arrow been playing the Tristana? Because we're seeing Tristana into Jhin a whole bunch just because they're very common, but the Tristana comes out on top more often than not because of the scaling, because of the extra range that she has. So if he has been actually practicing that Tristana behind closed doors, I don't believe he has played it just yet. No, he has not brought that champion out at all. We'll see if he's able to. And yeah, the Thresh that was not first picked does get picked up here. Yeah,
I think IMT knowing that, okay, we likely want to pick a bot laner here, but we do have to give something away. So Thresh is going to go over to Xpecial, and Kalista, that was banned as well in phase 2 of game 1, is going to go over to Arrow. So already a strong, completed duo lane there for Phoenix1.
Yeah, so far, 3 Kalista games for Arrow. He's won 1 of them and lost the other 2, but his KDA is a strong 6 on that champion, as you can see there at the bottom of the screen. So we'll see what he does. This is that double Shadow Isles save you lane, right? When they just go back and forth. One is the Dark Passage, Fate's Call on the other one. Then that early Syndra pick again.
Also interesting to see Xmithie just go back to Gragas with Rek'Sai still up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll see what ends up happening with the if this is a flex to top lane. We aren't seeing Gragas top so much anymore after the Doran's Rings nerf. MikeYeung on this Nidalee, we had just seen him power farm to level 4 at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And we'll see, this is a MikeYeung signature champion that he loves to play.
Certainly does tend to favor the more aggressive carry-style junglers. I mean, at least he looked fine, but gonna switch it up here at least.
And he really likes this pick into Gragas specifically because it's just a faster jungle clear than the Gragas. You're way healthier when you get out on the map at level 3 or 4, and you can invade the Gragas, and even if it messes up, you have escape routes. So I'm actually expecting MikeYeung to invade Xmithie this game and try to kill him early. He did it to Dardoch when he played CLG. I'm expecting him to do it here against Xmithie and Immortals.
Well, there's more Ghana ban for P1, so taking away the support. Lucian, though, will get banned away also. So Pobelter well set up once again to have a great lane for himself. I don't know if Ryu is going to go back to something like the Orianna. And again, that's why it's so tough. I think you mentioned, playing against TSM, Pobelter kind of felt bullied by the Syndra from Bjergsen. Are you taking a lot of cues about how TSM have been picking their Syndra as well? They often just pick it and say, what do you have against this?
Exactly. We're seeing so many mid laners now picked, at least in the top teams, picked in their first or second round, right? If you're red side, you pick it second round. If you're blue side, you pick it in the first round. We saw Cloud9 do this with Orianna. We saw TSM do this with Syndra, right? Now we're seeing Immortals do it with Syndra, both games, to try and get themselves a very early power pick in the mid lane to set up Pobelter.
Well, there's Shen and Karma banned on either side for Immortals and P1. Renekton, the obvious pick out of this phase, so Zig going to take that one into battle once more. And a lot of support's pinched here by P1, so we'll see exactly where Olleh wants to go to pair with this Jhin. Phoenix1, again, a lot of effort put into this bottom lane early in Champs League to try and give them a good matchup and keep them ahead, but looks like Olleh might just fall back to Bard.
Yeah, I love watching Olleh on pick champions. This guy, the meta suits him perfectly, whether it's the Morgana from his classic champion pool. And, is it a top lane Gragas into the Renekton?
Maybe. Unless it's top lane Rek'Sai. Not top lane Rek'Sai.
Or they'll swap it. It ends up just being a J4 or something. Yeah, look at that.
He's locked in Rek'Sai, so Immortals taking their time, using a flex there with the Gragas. Flame, I guess, seeing the matchup and saying, okay, I'm okay with the Renekton if that's what they take, which was the obvious choice. And this jungle matchup might be a little bit better for Xmithie as well.
Yeah, exactly. Playing the Gragas into the Nidalee, like I said, And MikeYeung specifically really likes this matchup because he can invade. Now it's not as clear-cut. And now mid lane, very volatile here with the Ahri being picked up. This is a land your skill shot. Whoever lands their stun, probably going to walk away with the victory there in the fight. I wonder if both of them will end up taking cleanse in this matchup. One of
the other things where this is a matchup that can go horribly wrong as soon as it starts to. Again, I talk about Syndra blocking champions. It's not that you can't play them, it's just there's so much more inherent risk with them.
Yeah, and let's look at the comps for a second here because Immortals, a lot of pick potential, a lot of single target CC, good team fighting in the mid game, and then late game, not as impactful as you would think. But Phoenix1 here, skirmish city, dude, because top lane, Renekton stun plus Nidalee spear coming in, that's a 1-2-on-2. If you go in mid, the Ahri lands a charm. This is skill shot reliant, but there's a lot of follow-up that can come through with the Nidalee spear. So I think the Nidalee pick here works out incredibly well with the CC that the laners have.
Yeah, and I think in the bottom side, very safe, very sturdy bottom lane in the 2v2.
And I think that MikeYeung's going to camp top lane this game. Flame on the Gragas has a lot of shoving potential. Don't think he'll actually try to play that aggressive, but Zig has the setup on the Renekton with the W, the Ruthless Predator, into the Javelin toss. So MikeYeung might try to take over this game early by focusing that top side of the map.
Well, we'll have to see, because if they can't, we saw what happened when Xmithie and Olleh are unlocked together. If Immortals can find a similar pattern in this early game, Phoenix1 will be hard-pressed to really challenge in the mid game, but yeah, anything is possible.
And Immortals really want to stay at the top of the table right now, tied with Counterlogic Gaming at 7-2, and honestly, Counterlogic Gaming playing up against Liquid, that's an expected win for them. So Immortals kind of need to keep pace and take a win here over Phoenix1. But Phoenix1, if they win this game, they can force a game 3, head off to Rift Rivals possibly with their first 2-0 of the season.
Well, we'll have to see. Immortals going to move out onto the Rift for, hopefully for them, the last time this weekend. P1, we'll see what they can do here in game number 2. As everyone just kind of fans out. Didn't get too much vision down. In fact, one Trinket Ward was placed at level 1 in the last game. But Pobelter and Ryu already doing battle. First Thunderlord proc goes to Ryu.
Yeah. Exhaust for Ryu as well. Pobelter does have the cleanse though. That'll remove exhaust because cleanse removes summoner spells like Ignite and Exhaust.
Yeah, Ryu, I think we'll see how that one works out. Always risky to not be able to get out of Syndra stun, but he also might not get one comboed, so we'll have to see. And again, if any attention comes to that lane and Ryu's in the wrong spot, he's gonna be toast. So curious to see again what the kind of utility duo for Xmithie and Olleh can get done here in this game. And you thought Thresh was a lot of fun for playmaking, Bard's even better.
Yeah, I love watching Olleh on Bard and a whole bunch of pick champions, so it's really good. I was watching MikeYeung. I thought he was going to start Raptors and maybe take the W and set up traps, but he's walked to the other side of the map. Hasn't put a point in anything just yet. Now just put it in Q. So yeah, he's going to get a hard leash on his bottom side, on his blue buff, and then he's going to try to power farm his route and end up on the top side of the map. So this is kind of indicative of MikeYeung doesn't start Raptors, which is the typical start for pretty much all junglers, but now people are getting power leashed. On the bottom side of the map, we do have a super leash coming in for Xmithie simultaneously, so Cody Sun and Olleh are doing a good job there. They're trying to get their junglers to the top side of the map as fast as possible, because I'm predicting these 2-on-2s to happen very early on.
Yep, MikeYeung stopping by the Wolf camp. It is trending towards the left-hand side of the map. Immortals do have the red warded, so a bit of earlier vision for them. And Xmithie actually on the Krug, so might be full clearing this bottom side or going to the bot lane.
Yeah, kill both, the big one and that one, and then try to gank bottom at level 3, but he's doing a full clear here. Oh no, he's just unburrowing to kill the small ones. And we'll see. Arrow and Xpecial, though, have played fairly safe, but we'll see. Arrow.
They're level 1.
Yeah, they're level 1. This is a big gank here.
Oh, looks for the knockup. Does follow into arrows. Oh! Get both away! Lines it up as Xmithie grabs first blood.
And this is a route that Dardoch did yesterday, and it's so good. You get a hard leash on the bottom side. Your jungler is 2 levels up over the bottom lane. This is a great red side route. This is one that's, specifically for blue side, where Immortals, you can go and take your red, your Raptors, your small ones, don't clear the big one, and then kill the big Krug and the small Krug and then come into the lane. This is just really well planned. Arrow hopped off to the side thinking maybe he'd see if the jungler was there, and then Xmithie came through, and there was just such a good flash Q there from Olleh. The Cosmic Binding, that was just disgusting.
MikeYeung did steal away the blue buff, but a stun there for Pobelter. Follow up from Olleh as the damage is going to come out, forcing the exhaust from Ryu.
Yeah, and now Olleh just won bottom side of the map with the help from Xmithie, immediately transitions that to mid. This will give Pobelter a better back, better pressure, more potions, and so this is just Olleh winning another matchup. And I love that he does this. Instead of staying in the lane and saying, all right, I'm just going to help, you know, continue to push Arrow in because his flash is down. It's like he has a window where he can just go into the enemy mid lane and wreak havoc.
And understanding those windows is the toughest part of roaming, but Olleh seems to have it all down pat. And Zig and Flame gonna...
That was cute from Flame. He walked up and looked like he was gonna ward there, and as the person hiding in the bush, you always just walk up as that moment's coming out, and you just look like you're gonna go for it and try to jump on him, but Flame did a little juke where he checks it first. Is there somebody in there? He would have walked out now, and he sees Zig.
Well, because he also see MikeYeung, he's going to sneak into the top half of the map.
No, I don't think he did. So MikeYeung's going to get into the second bush. If he goes into the third, though, he will be spotted because of the ward. Nice
ward from Flame there again, kind of intuiting that MikeYeung's probably coming up this way, but good hook again there from Xpecial, actually. Deja vu almost in the mid lane as Pobelter looking to try and get out of the way. Charm not going to go. Pobelter holds on.
Oh, MikeYeung!
MikeYeung goes for the tower dive in the top lane. So low. Looking for the spear. Oh. He does hit it.
Got a MikeYeung fan club goes crazy in the crowd, too.
All right, P1, some signs of life starting to play a bit more proactively in this early game and follow the aggressive jungler and support plays that served IMT so well in game one.
Yeah, Immortals, you know, they're trying to be matched a little bit there where Xpecial goes for the roam mid to kind of get something back. But this top lane play here, this is what I was talking about at the start. The stun comes out, empowered, gets the spear, dodges the damage, so Flame does a good job there, and then hits the W for just that damage reduction, and then the spear lands true there. Really well played there from honestly everybody involved. Flame played that the best that he could, except for that dodge at the end, and MikeYeung really executing well on top of Zig.
Yep, really nice topside play there for P1, and the roam was nice into the mid lane, but it does mean there are CS deficits in this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, bottom and mid both took some CS deficits early. You do have to watch out though, because Zig has a TP advantage now over Flame and Summoner spell advantage. So do you pressure this top lane more? Do you pressure bottom out and try to get a ward for a TP play? You have multiple options here now if you are Phoenix1, and that's what you really want, is that Renekton to be freed up to have that. And Flame actually still stacking Doran's rings in the top side, has 3 of them, didn't even opt for a Dark Seal or anything like that. They no longer have the passive that gives you 4 per kill as a non-unique passive, so you only get 4 instead of 12 when you stack the 3 rings. MikeYeung look for a repeat.
Yep, visiting once more. Zig has his ultimate, gonna pop it immediately, gonna go straight in for the stun. Landed through, might even be a solo kill, but MikeYeung leaps in to seal it.
Yep, that's what they're trying to do. They picked this combo for this reason.
Not that reason. Zig tanks turret hit, but P1 able to just get on the turret, and with no TP for Flame, Xmithie might have to come up here, or the turret's gonna take a beating just from the wave alone.
Yeah, and I like this because the bottom lane was something that last game Xmithie camped a bit, and then they weren't able to get anything on Phoenix1 side. MikeYeung saw that too. He has that ward down. Now he's just going to go try to bully Xmithie in the jungle, push him back. And because Flame doesn't have TP, allows him to push a little more. Arrow though.
Hook from Xpecial. Olleh trying to get out of there, but he punches out of it. Great double stun from Olleh. That was ingenious. I didn't know you could do that.
Got him just barely too. I don't even know if it hit both of them. I feel like it hit Xpecial in the wall, but maybe it hit Arrow there too.
I really want to see this
really
again,
good.
because I'm pretty sure he flushed out of his own portal.
Yeah,
quite an angle on a double stun. That was crazy. Olleh. I'm gonna lose my voice by the end of this game. Let's see this one again. I mean, Xpecial, this is a great effort from P1 as well.
Goes in, completes it, flashes to the side, stuns only Xpecial, but Arrow is now stuck on Xpecial's body for a half second.
And unfortunately, Arrow did pull the spears out, but needed one more. As Arrow's going to try and play dodgeball. Catches the second one. Fourth one's going to miss. And Arrow just casually hopping back and forth. A 10th on his life. Going to be unsuccessful there. As Arrow's just going to play back towards that turret. Make sure he doesn't do anything silly. Olleh trying to zone him off for a little bit longer as Bard going to get some vision in that tri-bush with the Caretaker Shrine. And looks like things are returning a bit more to normal. Flame trying to get what CS he can. blue buff going to be started once more by Xmithie, but a very late take here.
Yeah. The triple Doran's still good for the AP and the passive mono regen on them, so it's quite good from him to purchase those items. It's an interesting style. I like that it also gives him the HP too for survivability.
On the roam once more. Pobelter gets his blue and goes back. Immortals were playing very carefully given how much pressure MikeYeung was showing to the left-hand side of the map before, but MikeYeung busy clearing out the right-hand side after all that attention.
And when we thought about Phoenix1, it was always, oh man, how is Arrow gonna do? How's Ryu gonna do? And it really, MikeYeung is the person who has to carry in a lot of these games here from the jungle, because you just look at CS advantages and disadvantages. His mid lane's behind, his AD carry's behind, his top lane's the only winning lane for him right now. And despite the fact that they went and had 2 kills for themselves, the gold is very close. It was even just a second ago before they pick up the waves, and there they go. We got the stun. There it is.
Too late for Pobelter. Ryu able to clean that one up.
The charm comes through. MikeYeung throws the spear. I was talking about these skirmishes, these 2-on-2s. It's exactly how Phoenix1 want to play. They lost the early game last game. They're trying to use MikeYeung to leverage their advantage with the picks and try to just destroy these early turrets.
Yep. Ahri with a very, very good set of gank assist, and MikeYeung in the right place there to set that up as Pobelter face checks towards the right-hand side. Renekton's already done as well for MikeYeung with those 2 kills and the assist, sitting at 100% kill participation and a lot of early game jungle strength. P1 need to ride this wave.
And no time to waste. MikeYeung goes to the top lane. Gonna go pick up this Swamp and keep his farming going, as he saw Xmithie on the bottom side. Doesn't want to clear the tunnels either. Places a ward over, and now pressure top side just by being on this side of the map. You can see Flame is playing behind his turret just because of the possibility. And now he saw MikeYeung in the river with that ward over the wall, so he goes back in. That hits.
Great stun. Good follow-up route there, but Arrow will be safe. Xpecial just kind of playing back, trying to give a lantern spot. Important that they don't both get stunned, but Cody is still really far ahead in this lane, actually. Another great 2v2 for Immortals.
Top lane, MikeYeung coming in, and Zig waiting for himself to get some fury.
Yeah, building it up. Flame with a good body slam, but there's the flash stomp from Zig. MikeYeung going to chase it. They'll dive it. Flame holds him back, but it's not quite enough. And MikeYeung does it again.
Flame 0-3, MikeYeung 3-0. Wonder where those kills are coming from. Oh, just camping the top lane. They're using that matchup and trying to abuse it as much as possible here. And MikeYeung actually heading to the mid/bottom side of the map, going through his Raptors, I believe. Yeah, just gonna keep farming. Doesn't want to go for anything on this side of the map just yet. Yep. Play to his top side. Nice
Drake take through from Immortals. We'll see if P1 answer with maybe Rift Herald or that turret that Zig has been lovingly working on after all the attention top side. Kind of funny again, we heard from Zig yesterday that initially he wasn't a big fan of MikeYeung actually, and then was joking that they're now roommates and teammates. We did see a lot of pressure top right after we add that bit, so seems like they're certainly building synergy quickly here.
And when you think about Phoenix1 in the past, it was always Inori would play to bottom side, Meteos might play a little bit more towards mid. MikeYeung is definitely a solo lane focused jungler. He likes the routes that go towards mid and top, and kind of stays away from bottom like it's the plague. It's like, I'm not coming towards your lane, Arrow and Xpecial. Oh, there's much better gank assist in the other lanes where Xpecial plays more. Even though you guys Thresh, and you could come in with a Lantern, it's just the follow-up and the guaranteed of the Charm or the Ruthless Predator of the Renekton is just better for them to play off of.
Few less variables as well, and unfortunately that does mean that P1's bottom lane is taking hits in these games, a 30 CS deficit, although Arrow's going to clean up some of these.
They take hits every game from what we're seeing, so it's really that top half of the map. Teams still aren't really expecting them to play to Zig that often.
Ooh, Olleh with a nice ult.
He's actually baiting this.
They're both already stunned, but Ryu going to try and turn it back around. Charm's going to miss, though.
Oh, he read him.
Hook's good from Xpecial. Plays it back into the box, but Xmithie gets the knock up there. Xpecial forced to flash away. TP in from Flame as well. Now Cody going to open up. Tags Xpecial. Again, last bullet, those going to get blocked. MikeYeung tanks it.
Yeah, they got the teleport out of that. They got the flash from Xmithie, both summoner spells from Olleh and Xpecial. So honestly, that skirmish ends up going in favor of Phoenix1. And look at this, looking for Pobelter.
Yep, now the roam into the mid lane. Xpecial moves forward with the Fate's Call, looks for the hook, not going to land it. But a good collapse there from P1 to stop the siege and almost get themselves a kill.
Yeah, and Arrow has to go back down to bottom lane to pick up this wave that Cody Sun is farming and pushing in. And Zig now gets to take control of that top side. So now Phoenix1 want to use that pressure that they had from Zig to pressure Pobelter in mid. Now he doesn't have flash. Hold on though, Xpecial getting caught.
Oh, it could be an execute here. Xpecial
E,
is gonna get taken down, lines it up, can't do that hook. Xmithie with a kill.
Yep, there's the burst, the E into the R there, and now Zig is coming around looking for Pobelter because he doesn't have flash.
Yeah, looks like Olleh's here as well, but Xmithie already gonna take too much damage. MikeYeung on fire right now, 4 kills.
The rookie has been ridiculous since the first day that he played. You know, had kind of off mouse settings the very first time we saw him, and also monitor settings, but as soon as he righted that ship, I was like, wait, where's this guy been? What? And people were just talking about, man, this NA talent actually looks quite good. Hold on though, Arrow. Very scared and respecting Olleh.
Yep, flash out of the way after hopping. As P1 continuing to put on the pressure. Blue buff going to get stolen by Pobelter, keeping that out of the hands of P1 and where it belongs.
I don't even think he killed it though.
No, I think it might be running back.
Yes, it is.
Oh no.
Yep.
Lumbering
It's
back.
sad. We have no friends.
Pobelter not much of a friend, tried to kill him.
Oh yeah, good.
Ryu still applying pressure.
Just want a hug and you almost get killed.
Pobelter again, just kind of wave clearing it up, and P1 have done a really good job actually keeping this lane even. Pobelter, yes, up a little bit in CS, but Ryu able to play proactively. It's actually gone Merc Treads, which is nice, and Proto Belt.
Yeah, we want that HP, and it also is another dash to help him get in. Decent amount of burst too, so we'll see what happens here. Zig waiting for Pobelter to come back through this route, but I think Xmithie saw him.
Yep.
Yeah, they see him.
Sweeps just to make sure. Zig, tiny bit of movement enough to activate Tremor Sense.
And they want to punish this mid. They want to collapse their top
oh
laner.
my goodness, that did so much damage. Ryu already dashed in.
This mid turret's going down though. They might get this.
Olleh keeps it golden. Should be
Gragas on the other side.
Flame looking for the ulti, but MikeYeung, I think, just stepped away from a tag.
Oh.
And there's the flash out of the way, but still going to get hit up. Xmithie looking for a Flame, barely missing that body slam.
And they have to start running or turn on Flame and try to burst it.
Flame
Spear missed.
some revenge, but they're going to stun up Flame and keep running away. Olleh does get the stun onto Zig. Follow up there from Cody. And now going to chase him away. Knock on lands from Xmithie. Ryu still charming one. Jack blows up Pobelter. Cody does take down Zig, but Pobelter goes down on the other side. Xpecial going to collect the kill. It's just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Phoenix1 though have inside track on mid. This will be that mid turret going down once they get that wave clear on.
All right, so Olleh tried to ult it to save the turret, but all in vain as P1 pushed through for the last little points of damage.
MikeYeung still optimizing, goes into the jungle. Give Ryu solo turret gold as well, trying to just make sure he's having a good game now. Not too far behind in CS as he was the previous game, also up a level and has that turret. Right now, 3,000 gold up for Phoenix1.
And that's looking good. It's a huge laning lead, actually. Xmithie still focusing on those objectives, is looking to solo down this Rift Herald. Might need a bit of help, but...
He needs it to not get checked. There it is.
Xpecial with good sense there. Pops the Scry's Bloom. Rift Herald still... No, it looks like it's finally leashing away as... We'll watch this jungle skirmish again.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscoordination there where MikeYeung threw the spear before the stun came out from Zig, and then Zig didn't make it over the wall with his second E. And then this other spear comes through, and that one doesn't hit either. So MikeYeung kind of missing 2 back-to-back, but it was just miscoordination between them. Whereas Immortals, Pobelter kind of miscommunication. He's off on the side, and they just get collapsed on.
Kind of interesting to see Immortals now playing catch-up, although Pobelter finally getting some structural damage done to P1, able to take down the bottom outer turret. That's that first item completed as well. And IMT did get the first Drake. Rift Herald's still up for grabs, but so late into the game that I don't think it's going to get taken. It really just is this top side advantage that P1 have. A Rod of Ages finished on MikeYeung. Big mid lane and a big top lane, causing problems in 2 different lanes for Immortals, despite the fact that they are trying to play to their points of strength as well, while their mid laner and top laner just kind of catch up on farm.
Yeah, right now the big point of strength for Phoenix1 is MikeYeung. He has the most gold in the game right now. So talk about leverage your lanes. He can be anywhere. So being 2 levels up on Xmithie and having that pressure to pretty much kill anybody on the map is big for this Nidalee. And now we're seeing why he favors this champion so much.
It's another good start to a carry game here from MikeYeung as P1 actually moved their dual lane mid. Ahri got a much safer spot to farm, and his first item is almost completed. Should have enough money for that Blade of the Ruined King on his next recall. And Cody, sure, with the Ghost Blade, but despite the CS differential, Ahri feeling okay, given the fact that MikeYeung did such a good job snowballing the rest of the map. I think P1 will take the hit there in bottom lane. especially given the early attention that Xmithie caused them grabbing first blood for his team. And I think this is kind of fun for Immortals. We saw how far ahead they were in game 1. Just did such a good job snowballing the game. This time they're going to have to show us, you know, can they still play catch up? They've shown lots of good mid to late game decisions, shown they can team fight pretty well, and this might be a good pick for them all back from Flame. Zig going to pop Dominus.
Well, you always got to watch out for the P1 mid game where things don't always go their way. Zig gets hit by the last one.
Last bullet, not enough. MikeYeung actually might get a counter kill, but Flame repops going to the closest. Ahri here first, so Olleh goes down to Zig, and now Flame going to be the next one. Ahri with a second kill. Does land it. Now Xmithie on the run. Xpecial looking for another hook, but Riftail going to get started instead by P1, who are starting to convert these picks into objectives.
Yeah, Phoenix1 striking back in this game. Off of the back of MikeYeung for sure. Only missed out on 1 kill. And now it's pretty much starting that snowball. Once they get this Rift Herald, they can start cracking those tier 2s or even go bottom with it. But they get it right before the Baron spawns in 1 minute. So you'll hang on to that for 4 minutes, and we'll see if they actually stagger those timers. Because with a Kalista, you can do a Baron very quickly. And we'll see if they're going to put Rift Herald somewhere and then try to pick that up afterwards.
That looks like Ocean Drink here as well as Immortals. Still back off respawn, trying to get on the map. They are going to start it nice and aggressively, and like you said, plenty of great neutral control with a high damage jungler with Smite, and an ADC that's able to take down objectives. Another run there from Arrow gets them their next objective, and P1 starting to move up in gold. They were 3,000 gold before, and now getting close to 4.5K.
Yeah, always have to be a little hesitant though with Phoenix1 mid game, right? We've still yet to see the difference in the Barons just yet, where Immortals are actually quite good at the Baron dance, and Phoenix1, that's where they've lost games. That's probably cast 3 games this split where they've been trying to dance around Baron, and then the game just ends because of a split pusher or because somebody walks up to their Nexus and kills it in the late game situation. So P1 macro has been lacking in terms of the setup, and that's a communication thing. With MikeYeung off on the side here, figuring, should I drop Rift Herald or just stick around to make sure we can take a fight?
So P1 just playing this bottom side for a little while longer. Zig is really far ahead in his 1v1 still, so he's got plenty of pressure with his TP up, threatening onto Flame and getting damage done there. Ryu was trying to get some solo time on the turret and did get a lot of damage done, but not quite enough to take it out. I think P1 stalling a little bit. Like you said, this is a team that isn't quite together on how they want to be winning games as a team. See if Immortals can exploit that slight delay in action.
And just having a carry that's behind like Arrow so far this split, it just always kind of delays what you're able to do in the game. Because down almost 50 CS right now at 21 minutes. This isn't just laning phase. You can only make so many excuses for these things. It just seems like he's not getting allocated farm. It just seems like they're not even picking it up half the time in the lane. And it's not even like an awful matchup or anything, like the top lane where Flame has pretty much the same difference between him and Zig, and he got ganked 3 times, maybe even 4. Right? He got ganked multiple times on the top side of the map and had pressure on him, whereas Arrow really didn't have that same pressure on him at all. But well, it just seems to be something that's pretty consistent for this bottom lane. And so you have to worry for Phoenix1 as they move into this mid game and have a carry that's not as much of a threat. And MikeYeung is compensating though.
Yeah, I mean the whole top side of the map is compensating for Phoenix1, but certainly the wrong direction for a player like Arrow, given how good he was in spring.
The MVP.
Was the MVP. Still a great ADC. We'll see if that team fighting comes online when item number 2 is completed. Arrow is still working on, I assume, a Hurricane. As Xmithie smites down that Gromp. Immortals playing back towards his top side, trying to be, again, a little more proactive. Have lots of pick tools here, so I think P1 playing with a lot of respect, not wanting to get caught out in silly positions while they try and push all 3 of these lanes. But
if they get this pick, they can Rift Herald after.
Might be landing the first pick. There's Olleh actually going to get knocked up by the Fates Call. No follow-up, weirdly, there for P1.
Yeah, that was... Oh, Pobelter also got a stun there that stopped the follow-up. They would have really liked to actually go in onto Olleh.
P1 also running out of time to use their Rift Herald, don't forget.
Yeah.
MikeYeung not going to have that for much longer.
And Zig just burned his TP and canceled it, so TP advantage for Immortals here.
Xmithie getting chunked by Ryu, but should be safe.
Gonna have to use that Rift Herald soon. They took it at 19 minutes. 19-10. It only lasts for 4 minutes. He's got like 10 seconds on it. Yeah. It gives you that warning right there where you get the purple swirl on you. and it makes a sound just to kind of remind you, hey, you have Rift Herald, you should use it before it expires in like 20 seconds.
Well, once again, we could see a pretty uneventful Rift Herald, but P1 have kind of already done the damage they wanted to do in a lot of ways. It's tough to crack tier 2s. The Rift Herald's going to help out a little bit, but IMT should be able to take that down. Olleh actually ults the turret. Just kind of cute.
Yep, ulting the turret as Bard, stops the charge damage. And then all she does is just stand there and try to swing at it. So, very minimal turret damage.
Alright, so that one stopped. IMT easily defend their tier 2 turret as Ryu lining up a play here in the top lane. Wants a line on the charm.
He's waiting for him to try and back in the bush. He's going to go for it.
We can see it from Ryu. Oh, there it is. Late cleanse from Pobelter. Might be enough still. Pobelter follows, but nice slow. Pobelter going to hold on to his flash.
It looked like the second Spirit Rush from Ryu actually didn't have any of the little foxfires lock on because he Spirit Rushed away instead of towards. So just a slight difference there in the damage output that he would have had. Now Xmithie looking for Ryu.
That's a knock up. No, actually, great charm prevents that despite the tag. So no 1v1 there. Again, Xmithie going for some of that early damage before building tanks. So does actually do quite a lot to a relatively squishy mid laner.
Yeah, Rek'Sai kind of shines in that early part of the game where you can skirmish most junglers, including Nidalee because she's kind of squishy, but then it becomes kind of a skill matchup because Nidalee's just so far ahead in levels early on, just has extra abilities and damage from that.
And that gold again still growing for Phoenix1. They're now almost 6,000 gold ahead, and Arrow finally has picked up a Hurricane to start clearing the waves up, but also maybe team fighting for P1 here as well. Still behind. I mean, Cody also has 2 items, and his are more expensive and arguably better at this stage of the game. But Arrow should be fine if he's able to free hit through and use those Rens. You can see Cody actually up in gold just a bit here. So Arrow's still behind despite the overall lead for P1 as a team, but might not matter.
It's that top side of the map, like we were saying, right? Zig at 10,000 gold, where Flame is at 7,700. MikeYeung almost at 10,000 himself. They're having a little difficulty leveraging this in a very immediate way. Zig is 2 levels up over Flame, so he's trying to shove in and then play around whichever side of the map they have. But he used his TP, so he can't, leverage a TP advantage in any way, shape, or form and threaten an objective for a little bit. It's about to come back up, and then we'll see something.
All right, ulti burnt there for Ryu. Xmithie able to make a little proactive play. Ryu going to try and turn it back around, tags Pobelter, but doesn't land any CC.
Zig from the side.
Attempted, but does go down, and Zig lying in wait. Oh, we're going to face check into Olleh. Olleh takes the portal through. Stun from Pobelter is going to hit onto Zig, but not too much damage there.
Yeah, this will give him the Ocean Drake there where they chunk out Olleh, and he'll have to set up or back, but what are Immortals going to do? Because this is going to be, I like this from Phoenix1. MikeYeung is so far ahead, he can just solo the Drake. So as he's doing that, the rest of his team will get mid priority, or at least help this from not being complete mid priority for Immortals, or so you would hope.
Going to contest P1, looking for a fight though. Stun lands onto Xmithie, Bard ultimate onto 3, but Xmithie already down. And now Zig gets scattered back in, but an ultimate was going to move them back. Pobelter with the ulti almost takes down Ahri, but MikeYeung going to assassinate Pobelter in the middle of it all. Flame, he's going to go down in the mix. Immortals spawning everywhere. As Zig going to keep chasing down Olleh. Cody Sun going to try and stop the spear. Down as the spear lands in on MikeYeung, dominating. Takes down Olleh's Bard.
And they just roll over Immortals. This will be a Baron as well. And we're going to see P1 out to a 10,000 gold lead versus the #1 team at 26 minutes.
Yeah, really early on into this one, but if you're a team that maybe struggles with macro, the easiest way to take Baron is to kill everyone else on the enemy team.
Sounds good.
More or less. No macro necessary. Great team fight there from P1.
Yeah, they just had such a gold lead that they just flexed that around. And that's the Baron, and now you can see over 9,000 gold lead for them. They gave away mid-priority here, but MikeYeung takes the Drake as Xpecial gets a hook on Xmithie, and then a charm. Xpecial, on Xmithie really doesn't get to do anything at that point. And then right here, the spear from the side onto Pobelter. Arrow does not die as that ultimate from Pobelter comes out, so he doesn't have the same amount of damage as he did last game. Arrow also picking himself up a Hex Drinker too. A little bit of magic resistance in that spear as well, as Cody Sun's the only one who survived. So Phoenix1 really just played that perfectly.
Yep, that pesky Banshee's second for Pobelter. Pretty much costing him that kill onto Arrow despite the nice re-engage from IMT, but Xmithie, Xpecial's been doing a great job landing hooks, I have to say.
Yeah, Ryu with the Charm Max second, getting that very long duration. I believe it's 2 seconds and it's maxed out.
Another one up. Ryuk keep chasing. Next charm's going to miss, though. Doesn't want to commit the Spirit Rush.
Yeah, now with the Baron, though, you get to push mid and you get to push bottom. And Zig 3 levels up now. MikeYeung 3 levels up. And if you think back to the minion changes about over a year ago now, minions have extra, damage reduction and damage to other minions and stuff based off of the average level of your team versus the average level of the other team. So being levels up really helps.
Both the caught. Ryu's just going to go straight in for it as MikeYeung gets another kill. Charm lands into Xmithie. You can't tunnel out. Zig able to take down Cody. He dives into the backline with Arrow and Xpecial. Olleh with a nice double stun to disengage, but Carry's already dead for Immortals.
Yeah, Zig gonna help take down this turret, and they'll keep pushing here as 2 members are down. No wave clear for Immortals, save for Flame, but I don't think that's enough really as a Gragas against these minions that are buffed up. This will be a turret going down here as an inhibitor turret, possibly the inhibitor itself.
Yeah, only 20 seconds on the 2 carries, so still a lot of time for Phoenix1. They are gonna push in. They know they've got enough strength here, so don't even need their marksman. Arrow and Xpecial actually pushing mid lane. They take down the bottom side.
Yeah, trying to maximize what they get off of this.
Going for more. Baron's still up for a little while longer. Going to tank up this turret. Should be enough, and might even go for a bit of additional.
Yeah, they're all very healthy. No E now for Zig.
Zig the only one caught, though. Stun going to miss as the follow-up there from Olleh. Inhibitor's going to stay up unless P1 want to stay for a fight.
I mean, they're very far ahead. They have the Baron buffed up minions. They definitely stay.
Too far ahead. Able to force Immortals back and take 2 inhibitors off of those picks. Really good play from P1. Just kind of fighting their way out of what, we usually expect to be a pretty poor mid-game from them. Just showing that, hey, if we just pick fights when we're already ahead, much easier to perform from there. And they've been executing on every little skirmish so well.
And they reset the map. Phoenix1 with that 13K goldie we were seeing this last game. How's that coffee, Pastry?
Really good. Really good. I don't have any right now, which is disappointing, but I will need something moving until it looks like a 3rd game pretty soon here.
I see what you did there.
One last little assault left. P1 just going to go top side and hopefully for them, watch Immortals base crumble very quickly.
Yeah, top side, push it down, and then it would be a desperation attempt from Immortals. But with so much gold as an advantage, it's, like I said in the previous game, very, very low percentage chance that this goes wrong.
Kind of fun to see, actually, another redemption. Olleh has one, which I think makes sense on something like Bud. I mean, maybe it's the range sports that want to have more of these, traditional utility items, but MikeYeung's comboing with it's kind of cool for Xpecial. You're going to see his job is just to keep Arrow alive.
Yeah, so MikeYeung's, people don't usually see it that often, has 20% healing and shielding, and because that's tripled on the Redemption, and the Redemption has 10% itself, he's actually getting 90% increased healing and shielding.
Another follow-up missing there for Olleh, who's just going to get killed. Good stun there from Zig, who's a little too tanky to try and get a kill. Xmithie trying to tunnel out of the way, but MikeYeung rinse him down. Legendary in this one, Xpecial. Landing it up, hooks Pobelter, who jukes just down. And now Cody Sun, 1 of 2 left alive. Make it 1 of 1. Immortals that are very much left as Cody's going to fall to a rampage. Doesn't matter, leads for, gets the order. There's the ace, and P1 going to tie it up and push Immortals to the brink. Such a good game 2 from Phoenix1, bouncing back in style.
9-0-5 for MikeYeung. This NA rookie means business.
Aggressive NA jungle talents, smashing people. I've seen this story before. MikeYeung with a big smile on his face. Yeah, still work to do for P1, but what a way to come back and force the 3rd game.
And the draft worked out for them as well. They picked the top lane of the Renekton, paired that up with the Nidalee that can just set up the stun into the spear, and they did that multiple times. Flame 0-6-1 this game. Pobelter 0-5-0. Those solo laners barely got to play League of Legends.
Yep, and again, it just feels like P1 said, you know what, let's just pick aggressive lanes. We are strong, and let our jungler try and do some extra work to get us ahead. Very simple plan. Bottom lane, again, took a lot of hits on the P1 side. You can't keep ignoring the fact that Arrow and Xpecial aren't laning very well. But in this game, it actually didn't matter enough.
And I feel like that's an interesting shift for them, because before, Phoenix1 was like, get to the late game, get to that point where we're going to have those big fights around Arrow. And I think that right now, with the way that Arrow is playing alongside Xpecial and the way that Ryu is playing, very inconsistent, you can't always rely on the team fighting here. But if MikeYeung is able to set up his laners to have such large advantages like Zig, then you just go ahead and you skirmish the whole early game, and then you're ready to go.
Well, you see the lead they built did push them to a win, but to hear more about how P1 tied that series, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much. PastryTime evening up the series. Phoenix1 is here in Game 2, 1-1 moving on to Game 3. And let's be honest, this was unexpected. I think most people were coming in thinking 2-0 out of Immortals was what was going to happen. But Phoenix1 also didn't necessarily win in the way in which you'd expect. Again, this team has been built around Arrow, and yet the answer this time was going top lane.
I think exactly what Zirene said, where if you look at P1's laners, they're not super strong for the most part. You see 2 games in a row, Xpecial kind of misplays that first gank attempt and ends up kind of aiding them in getting first blood on Immortal side. Maybe, the kills go over either way, but it's definitely like a small misplay. And as a result, MikeYeung has to go and answer back. And that's what he's so good for, is finding these openings to force action. And he combos with Zig, starts camping Flame super hard. Gets, I think, 3 kills in the first couple minutes here. And it's just fadeaway kills, very clean stuff, showing that he has a Nidalee. We've seen him play it a couple of times here. And,
yeah, that's a big pick for him.
Yeah, and it buys space for the rest of Immortals to kind of scale up, or excuse me, P1 to scale up while he's going around making all this action happen. Acadian's trying to keep up or match plays. And during this time, you start getting everyone involved, you start getting them kills, getting them fed, and then when you get into the mid game, hopefully you're good to go. Now, this is a bit of an overperformance.
Absolutely.
Where usually, you just want MikeYeung to get you into the game mid-game even. This time, he gives you a monster lead to run with.
And that's the thing, right? This isn't going to happen for you every game, even if this is your strategy every game. Sometimes the kills fall in your favor, sometimes they don't. This time around, they get that early lead, and they play very well with it. I mean, MikeYeung himself definitely coming into his own here in the North American LCS as a rookie jungler. But the trick will be mirroring this success here in Game 3.
Yeah, you don't always want to have your rookie jungler pick up 9 kills in a victory. Maybe if he gets, 2 or 3 kills in the early game and pressures at the right time and you take a turret, the kind of slow, methodical plays mixed in with this kind of hyper-aggression that we see out of MikeYeung is the development you want for the rookie.
That said, let's take a look at the big team fight at 26 minutes, 4-0 for Phoenix1, plus the Baron. This is really what puts the nail in the coffin for Immortals.
This is what we're saying, you're in the mid-game now, your carries are able to actually start stepping up. Well played by Arrow, able to save Xpecial there, barely gets out, and during this whole time, Pobelter's Ryu's helping melt down that front line, and Zig is able to kind of run wild with that monster lead that he generated for him as well. So off the back of MikeYeung getting everyone fed, he's able to let his carries actually start doing big work in these team fights.
Yep, exactly. And you can see there, once the gold starts falling in P1's favor, nice steady climb till the point in which they are able to take that Baron where they get the big spike. A lot of damage coming in from that Renekton, as you mentioned. I mean, he had the gold in his pocket, so then when he shows up in team fights, a whole item ahead of his opponent, and it's easy for him to pump out that damage.
And on the side for Immortals, I mean, Syndras who fall behind don't do a ton. We saw it yesterday in Dignitas when Keem was 0-6 on the Syndra, had a really hard time getting involved. Same kind of story this time around for Pobelter. Gragas, same way, he's trying to be tanky, but the side of P1 has such a scrappy early game team with the Nidalee, Renekton, and Ahri that if you fall behind, you're out of this game pretty quick.
All right, Pobelter on your screens right now. I mean, they haven't suffered too many losses as a team, so we're going to continue to track how these guys respond to the losses that they do receive. Player of the game going over to MikeYeung.
MikeYeung!
Huge performance out of him. Would like to see it as often as we can. 9-0-5 on that Nidalee. But again, the expectation is not that many kills will fall over that easily here in Game 3. And so before they take off for Rift Rivals, this Phoenix1 roster would really love to get this win over one of our first-place teams in the league. Do you think they can do it here in Game 3? And if so, how can they do it if not off of, 5 kills early game from MikeYeung?
I think Immortals is trying to help NA's chances at Rift Rivals here. They give the 2-0 over the TSM. They're like, P1's going over tomorrow as well. Let's give them a couple wins. They got to look better. But seriously, I think, MikeYeung is someone who has these pop-off games. Nidalee's the perfect champion for it. Immortals probably want to take that away. It's a little scary moving back on the red side. When do you ban it? But you can also do it by getting better lane matchups up in the top side, because that's really where the snowball started. For the side of P1, I think it's a similar story where you try and focus more on counter picks, get a good early skirmishing jungler, and then just hope MikeYeung can carry you through that early game.
Now, they do move back to blue side, so they'll have less opportunities to counter pick in some cases. I would also like to look at Ryu. I mean, again, this is a guy throughout his career has been criticized for inconsistency at times, and especially in high-pressure matches, sometimes hitting the mark and sometimes not. We remember Worlds this year for H2K. everyone was saying he was performing fantastically. But here, domestically in North America, is one of the underperformers on Phoenix1 so far this split.
He's a playmaker for the most part, and when you're behind, it becomes substantially harder to play that playmaker role because you're having to make it from a deficit. You don't have the damage to burst people from 100 to 0. And so with P1 struggling, the bot lane they were pretty much an even bot lane last season. This time a very negative bot lane. Zig was struggling. Their jungle situation earlier on with Inori and Meteos not working out. So as a playmaker, it can be harder to look for those openings. I can kind of sympathize with it, but it is still a problem that he is so inconsistent and seems to struggle when it's just, here's a DPS champion, just go even in lane.
Right. Well, Immortals gets a crushing victory in game 1. Phoenix1 gets a crushing victory in game 2. We're gonna head to a quick break. Meet us back here in a few to see if Phoenix1 can complete the upset or if Immortals can shake off that loss and take it in game 3. Don't touch that browser.
There it is.
Good flash play, gets them both. Can actually hook Arrow after it. Xpecial going to try and eat him up, but he gets knocked up by